Stop looking at the buildings towering around you. Stop looking at the tourist shops and the modern signs. I want you to look down at your feet.
Beneath the asphalt and the smoothed, slippery cobblestones of this exact modern alleyway, there isn't just bedrock or dirt. There are 50 solid feet of crushed skulls, shattered pottery, rusted iron swords, and the melted gold of 3 different empires.
Jerusalem isn't built on a mountain, it is built on the corpses of previous versions of itself.
Every time this city was annihilated, the survivors didn't clear the rubble. They simply flattened the ashes of their ancestors and built the next city directly on top of the trauma.
History books are entirely too safe.
They give you sterilized dates, clean maps, and neat little paragraphs that fit perfectly onto a high school exam. They protect you from the sheer, suffocating brutality of what actually happened on these streets.
But to truly understand Jerusalem,
Without a doubt the most contested, bled over, and desperately desired piece of real estate in human history,
you can't just read a Wikipedia page or watch a dry academic lecture. You have to survive it.
you have to feel the blistering heat of the flames against your face. You have to smell the oxidized iron in the mud. And you have to hear the deafening silence that follows the slaughter of an entire civilization.
Today, we are not doing a history lesson. I am taking you with me on a one-way visual trip through the 4 pivotal days that forged, broke, and resurrected this city. We're going to travel from a golden age so blinding and magnificent it defies ancient logic, straight into a bloodbath so deep and horrific that medieval historians swore it stained these limestone walls red for a decade. If you think you know this city's story because you know a few names and dates, you are entirely wrong. Take a deep breath. Hold it. The air in your lungs is about to change. The transition is violently abrupt. One second, I'm hearing the distant hum of modern traffic, the clicking of smartphone cameras, and the overlapping prayers from nearby loudspeakers. The next second, my eardrums are slammed by the raw, unfiltered, chaotic noise of the ancient world. It is 957 BC. The smell hits you instantly, and it is completely overwhelming. It's a thick, heavy, almost intoxicating cloud of burning frankincense, myrrh, and sweet cinnamon, desperately trying to mask the metallic, heavy tang of animal blood flowing continuously from the colossal sacrificial altars ahead. The dry heat of the Judean desert is suddenly cut by the imposing shade of towering, freshly hewn stone walls that seem to reach up and touch the sky itself. This is the undeniable apex of the ancient world. King Solomon's first temple. Look at the sheer, impossible scale of it. No modern camera lens could ever properly capture the way the harsh, unforgiving desert sun reflects off the imported cedar of Lebanon and the pure, unadulterated gold overlay that covers the sanctuary. It is literally blinding. You have to squint and shield your eyes just to look toward the roofline. Gigantic bronze pillars, impossibly heavy and intricately carved with pomegranates and lilies, stand at the entrance like silent, immortal giants guarding the threshold of the divine. Walk through these bustling, vibrant streets with me. Look at the faces of the people passing by in the blinding light. There are merchants shouting in ancient dialects, trading precious stones from Offa and spices from the deep south. There are weary pilgrims who have walked for weeks. their sandals worn thin just to stand in this immense courtyard for a few minutes. They carry woven baskets of fresh figs, dark olives, and pure white doves. But look closer at how they walk. They move with a profound, unshakable confidence. There is a heavy, sacred tension hanging in the air. A collective belief so strong it feels like a physical weight. The people here believe that the literal, physical presence of the creator of the universe resides right behind those monumental cedar doors. Because of that, they believe this city is completely untouchable. They believe it is eternal. They believe they are protected by a divine shield that no mortal army, no matter how vast, could ever hope to pierce. It is profoundly tragic to watch them go about their day. They have utterly no idea that the gold they are meticulously polishing this afternoon will eventually be melted down to fund their own horrific destruction. They don't know that titanic empires they haven't even heard of yet. Empires currently building terrible war machines in the West are already sharpening their swords. They are living inside a beautiful, fragile, golden bubble. And it is about to burst in the most catastrophic way imaginable.
The air is suddenly gone. We've jumped forward in time.
And I missed the Babylonian exile entirely. It is 70 AD. The golden sunlight is completely obliterated, replaced by a thick, choking, suffocating soot that instantly coats the back of your throat. The Roman legions aren't just breaching the outer walls. They are systematically, ruthlessly annihilating the very concept of Judea.
The heat right now is truly unbearable.
Like standing in front of an open blast furnace. The second temple is on fire behind me, roaring flames licking hundreds of feet into the pitch-black sky. And I can literally hear the immense stone columns screaming under the intense thermal stress before they snap and collapse with the sound of thunder. We have to move into the shadows, right now. Keep your head down, or we are dead. Before this fire, there was the agonizing hunger. The Roman legions, commanded by the ruthless future Emperor Titus, surrounded this city with a staggering siege wall of their own making. Designed to starve the inhabitants into submission. For months, the people trapped inside ate whatever they could find until they were boiling the leather from their own shields and sandals just to survive another day.
But today, the waiting is finally over.
This isn't a standard military conquest to claim territory. It is a calculated, deeply vindictive extermination. The Roman war machine doesn't just defeat its enemies, it erases them from the map to send a terrifying message to the rest of the known world. Rebellion means total annihilation. You can feel the intense heat radiating off the collapsing limestone blocks.
It's searing the skin on my face.
The roar of the fire is so incredibly loud. A constant, deafening rushing sound that you can't even hear the screams of the desperate people running right next to you. The historian Josephus, a man who is watching this exact nightmare unfold right now from the safety of the Roman camp, wrote that the blood running down these steep, narrow streets were so incredibly thick and voluminous that it actually put out some of the smaller fires raging in the lower city. Look up at the Temple Mount through the thick black smoke. The gold on the roof is melting. It is flowing down the monumental stone steps like a glowing, yellow river of lava. Roman soldiers, their highly disciplined formations broken by the sheer chaos, their armor covered in black soot and red gore, are literally prying the burning, 1,000-pound stones apart with heavy iron bars. They are burning their own hands just to get to the liquid gold seeping into the deep cracks of the foundation. They are destroying the holiest site on earth for a handful of pocket change. Being right here, watching this firsthand while the ash falls like dirty snow, you realize how terrifyingly fragile human civilization really is. Emperor Titus didn't just burn a magnificent building to the ground today. He shattered an entire civilization, scattering a whole people across the face of the earth for the next 2,000 years. The deep, traumatic silence that will follow this raging fire will be profoundly deafening, and it will last for centuries. The city is dead, but the wheel of time turns again. We've jumped over 1,000 years forward into the dark. The blistering, dry heat of the Roman fire is gone,
Aye, winter comes early this year.
replaced instantly by a suffocating, humid, sickening stench that violently assaults your senses and clings to your clothes. It smells of unwashed bodies, rotting horses left in the sun, dysentery, and a blind, terrifying, uncontrollable fanaticism. It is July 15th, 1099 AD. We have arrived at the brutal climax of the First Crusade. We are hiding in the deep, terrifying shadows near the breached northern wall. The Crusaders have just broken through the final line of defenses. Look at them pouring through the gap. They are wearing heavy, rust-stained chainmail and thick wool surcoats adorned with crosses, fighting in the middle of a brutal, unforgiving Middle Eastern summer. They are exhausted to the bone, starving, dying of thirst, and half-mad from the heat and years of relentless warfare. They marched over 3,000 miles across the harsh landscapes of Europe and Asia Minor, enduring unimaginable suffering, starvation, and disease, all in the unwavering certainty of holy salvation. But what is happening outside this window right now, in the streets below us, isn't holy. It has nothing to do with salvation. It is pure, unadulterated, apocalyptic slaughter. The Muslim defenders, the Jewish populations hiding in their synagogues,
What are we gonna do?
the native Eastern Christians who have lived here peacefully for generations. Utterly no one is spared from the blades. The European knights don't know the difference between the people they see, and in their bloodlust, they simply do not care. The chroniclers of the time, the very priests who accompanied the army and blessed their weapons, proudly boasted in their letters back to Europe that men rode their horses in blood up to their knees and bridle reins. We know that is a physical impossibility, a grim exaggeration meant to emphasize their total victory. But standing here, watching the unrelenting, chaotic brutality unfolding in this narrow alleyway, listening to the agonizing, wet sounds of heavy broadswords hitting bone and armor, it doesn't feel like an exaggeration at all. It feels like the end of the world. I can hear the heavy squelch of thick leather boots sinking into the mud right outside our hiding place. Except, I know it hasn't rained here in months. The ground was baked hard by the summer sun just hours ago. That isn't mud. They are weeping openly as they kill, tears streaming down their dirt-caked faces, utterly convinced that with every strike of their swords, they are doing the righteous work of the divine. It is a psychological horror that no textbook can ever capture or adequately explain. Why does humanity always demand the highest price in blood to water its holiest grounds? Why do the very places that preach the most profound messages of peace witness the most horrific, unimaginable acts of violence? The screams, which seemed like they would never end, slowly begin to fade away, replaced by a different sound entirely. It's a rhythmic, steady, almost soothing sound. The sharp clinking of iron chisels hitting hard stone, the creaking of heavy wooden pulleys, and the shouting of foremen giving directions.
It is 1538 AD. The Ottoman Empire has taken firm control of the region, and the atmosphere has shifted dramatically once again.
The heavy, oppressive stench of death and decay is completely gone, swept away by the winds of a new era. Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, ruling from thousands of miles away, has had a terrifying dream of fierce lions chasing him. A vision interpreted as a divine command to rebuild the shattered defenses of this broken, vulnerable place.
He has ordered the city to be permanently sealed, protected, and restored to its former glory.
Look at those magnificent, towering limestone walls being built right in front of us. Perfectly cut blocks are being hoisted up into the sky by complex wooden scaffolding and thick hemp ropes. Thousands of skilled masons and labourers are working in perfect unison.
Those are the exact same iconic walls that tourists lean against to take smiling selfies today.
The Damascus Gate is being carved and assembled piece by piece, an architectural masterpiece rising from the dust.
The deep generational trauma of the Babylonians, the Romans, and the Crusaders is still here. It hasn't vanished.
It is just buried a few inches under the freshly laid cobblestones. But the city is finally breathing again. Listen to the beautiful, chaotic sounds returning around us. Markets are reopening in the Christian and Muslim quarters.
Your price for this figurine is too high.
Deep, rich spices like cardamom and saffron, alongside brilliantly dyed silks from the Far East, are arriving daily on endless camel caravans. The smell of roasted coffee fills the air. Children are running and laughing through the narrow streets, chasing each other past the newly built fountains. The city is slowly, deliberately healing its deep wounds.
It always rebuilds. No matter how many times it is burned to the ground, it always survives the very worst destructive impulses of mankind.
We are back in the present day.
The noise of the tourists, the sirens, the bells, and the prayers rush back into my ears. You cannot walk through Jerusalem today without walking directly on top of ghosts.
The ancient Israelites, the Babylonians, the Roman legions, the European Crusaders, the Ottoman Janissaries, the British Empire. They all genuinely thought.
They all marched proudly through these ancient gates, raised their colourful flags high into the desert sky, shed veritable rivers of human blood to claim a few square miles of stone. And then, eventually, inevitably, they all turned to dust and faded into memory.
They're all gone, but the stones remain. The city remains.
History isn't just an old, dusty book sitting forgotten on a library shelf. It isn't something abstract that happens to other people in a distant, unimaginable past. It's a vital, urgent warning echoing right under our feet at this very moment. Jerusalem is the ultimate, undeniable proof that humanity is fully capable of destroying everything it loves in terrifying fits of rage, greed, and fanaticism.
But it is also the enduring proof that we will always, inevitably, find a way to rebuild from the ashes. We always rise from the rubble we create.
If you survived this brutal journey through time with me, hit that subscribe button right now.
Because next time, I'm taking you to a city that didn't survive the fire. A place where time stopped completely in a matter of seconds, freezing its people in terror forever.
And believe me, you will want to be there with me before the sky turns pitch black and the mountain explodes.